Hey folks, Tom Moore coming to you with another video on living in Halifax. Today we're doing a driving tour, a reverse commute actually, out to Lower Sackville. We're going to go basically along the waterfront, up Lower Water Street in Halifax, go all the way to the McKay Bridge, which is our second bridge inside of the harbor, kind of the highway bridge. And then we'll cross into Burnside, and then once we're in Burnside Industrial Park, will be a straight shot out to Lower Sackville. So enjoy the drive, and I'll give you a little narration as we go. Alrighty, well, here we go, and we're off. We're starting down by the Bicycle Thief and restaurant Amano, two pretty popular Italian restaurants right on the Halifax waterfront here. So yeah, this is kind of the boardwalk region of Halifax. Right on our left here, this building that's under construction is home to the Alexander Keith's Brewery, as well as the weekend market. They've got a great weekend market in there throughout the whole year, where you can get, you know, a little quick kind of cool meal, or you can do some grocery shopping. They got some arts and crafts in there, all kinds of stuff. On the right hand side here for our tourists, this is where the harbor hopper kind of boat tours, or boat/land tours, begin. And yeah, you've got the Maritime Museum of Maritime Museum of the Atlantic right here, this kind of brick building in front of us. They've got the Titanic Museum in there as well. This is a really good McKelvey's. This is one of our best seafood restaurants in Halifax. And then to our right here, this is a newer development called the Queen's Marquee, and they've got some really great restaurants with just super cool environments. And they've been open for, I would say, the earliest restaurant was probably been around a year and a half, maybe, that's been there. The ferry terminal to Dartmouth and Woodside is on the right here, right behind that kind of Tim Hortons. And yeah, we're just kind of in the office district of downtown Halifax. So I wanted to do this to show people kind of what the tour of or what the commute, I guess, would be if you were coming out of directly downtown Halifax. Right here to the right is this is called Historic Properties. They've got a really great bar there called the Lower Deck, which has awesome outdoor concerts every Sunday night in the summer. And it's just a really cool East Coast bar. Obviously, you can see this huge construction zone going on here. Cogswell Interchange is what it is called. And they're doing a massive, massive redevelopment of this area. I think they're putting 8 or 10, maybe 12 buildings, mixture of I think condo and apartment buildings, as well as a lot of park space in right there. And it's designed to connect the casino, which is right to our right here, with kind of the rest of downtown, and while simultaneously getting rid of the outdated road infrastructure that was there. This is the Navy base off to our right here. But as you can tell, this place has been kind of really messed up here in the last couple months. I don't know when they're planning on being finished, but you know, it's I don't know how big of an issue it's caused in terms of traffic realistically when comparing it to the last bit. Like, I do a fair bit of driving down here, but yeah, it's certainly been a bit of a disruption, we'll say that. So the Navy base is basically all along the right here. It's a mixture of actual space for the Navy, and then I believe they have the division headquarters down here as well. I'm not sure exactly where. Might be actually a little bit up to the left, but we're just kind of starting to creep into the north end now. We're down along the lower side of the north end. I have a soda water. Don't worry, it's not beer. Haha. But Actually, it would be a great day for a patio beer today. This is we're in early August right now, and it is, I would say, 12 degrees out. A little chillier, but it's beautiful out today. And I think on Friday we're actually supposed to get up into the 20s, which is unbelievable and unheard of. But yeah, so here we are. We're kind of cruising along down by the north end. Now, this is, I believe, public housing on the left-hand side here, which would be, well, it's probably a mixture of public housing and city housing, or private housing, I should say. But this is the McDonald Bridge, which will kind of take you into downtown Dartmouth. That would be the bridge you'd likely take if you were living in Dartmouth or Cole Harbour. And I'll probably do another video a different day on that commute. But right now we're sandwiched directly in between two parts of, I guess, the Navy base. So on the left-hand side here, I think this is actually division headquarters, and then on the right-hand side, this is more, the purely like naval base infrastructure and whatnot. There's some shipbuilding, which we're obviously going to pass by here. You can probably see that big white building in front of us, but there's some shipbuilding applications down here. I mean, Halifax is a really big Department of National Defense town, so all this real estate is, or a lot of it is owned by the Department of National Defense. But yeah, we're still in the north end. Now we're going to basically be bypassing the whole of the north end, so you'll really get a handle on how large this neighborhood is. It's all on our left-hand side here, but Irving has the shipbuilding contract here. They're a large fuel processing, kind of own everything for our American watchers, or maybe our watchers that are kind of west of Ontario. And they're a large family that is centered out of New Brunswick, but they own everything. They're really big into forestry, oil and gas, and obviously they have the shipbuilding contract out here, as well as they're into a little bit of everything. More so in New Brunswick than in Nova Scotia, but a very prominent, I guess, company and family out in the Maritimes. So yeah, we're kind of just coming along here. There's a bit of rail loading capability down here. We get a lot of ships that get parked along here, usually for refits. They'll stay docked for a little bit. I would imagine they're either waiting to get fixed or they're getting fixed, but there's a lot of kind of just train, I guess, switching lines through here, a bit of container stacking. It's not a true container terminal, but there is definitely some logistics happening there. Over to the right hand side, if you can see right under the bridge there, that's actually the Coast Guard base. So we'll go over top, we'll go over this bridge here. Jeez, there's something, smells like it's burning in this car right now. That'd be funny. We're good. There's the bus. But we're going to be going over this bridge right in front of us. This is the McKay Bridge. This is kind of our highway bridge. So 4 lanes, 2 going one way, 2 going the other way. A bit quicker than the other bridge we just passed. The other bridge is, look at this beautiful view of the Bedford Basin right here. So my new office is going to be over there when I finally get in. And then before I kind of go back to talking about the bridges, you'll see these large cranes in front of us here. This is Fairview Cove Terminal. So this is one of 2 very large container shipping ports. This one's inside of the Bedford Basin. And, we've done the Halifax Bridge lifts over the last several years, which has raised the height of the bridges so we can get larger cruise ships, larger container ships in and out of the harbor. And healthcare. We've got a lot of ministries that have kind of not done too well over the last couple decades in terms of preparing the province for future growth. But I'll tell you, the one that's done quite well has been the Ministry of Infrastructure. quick shout out to Pete Hackett there, who is the current minister. But, you know, our highways are in great shape. We've got some really good infrastructure in terms of ports, both here in Halifax as well as in Sydney. I believe they're talking about doing some expansions. And now with this new energy project occurring up in Cape Breton and other places, there's been some really great steps that the provincial government has taken in terms of future growth for trade. So obviously will add to the wealth in this province, which is important. There's been a couple other ministers that have kind of screwed the pooch. Not most recently. These are obviously decades long, you know, implications. Like, it's not like the healthcare system went kaput because the most recent government or even the government before it did something wrong. It's been just consecutive kind of misplanning of allocation of resources, basically. And that's my opinion, which is basically from me and my friends just discussing with no real counters to our opinions. Anyways, all right, so we're going in through the bridge toll here, and then we're kind of in, I mean, this is technically considered Dartmouth, but you could also kind of, we're on the edge of Burnside. Is this guy gonna come in here? I don't know. Yeah. And you know, there's not much on this side of the bridge. Like, there's a little bit of housing up here that you can see that's still Dartmouth, and then we obviously just crossed over the Coast Guard base, which is actually the fleet base is, oh, Jesus, it was close. The fleet base this is one of the worst highway exits and entrances in basically Halifax right here. There's another really bad one in Sackville, but we're actually not going to do that one today. Anywho, what was I talking about? Yeah, so the fleet base for the Coast Guard is actually up in Newfoundland, St. John's, but Halifax has a pretty large presence here as well. So maybe I'll do another video on that some other day for the Coast Guard nerds. Like myself, I spent a couple summers in the Coast Guard and I loved it. Doing rescue out of BC, North Vancouver Island and Telegraph Cove. That was really awesome. And then I actually did it. I was lucky enough to do it in the Halifax Harbor as well for another year. But yeah, it was fun times. Okay, so we're coming into Burnside Industrial Park. Again, we've got another Irving facility on the left here, and that's not a car crash. But this is just a mixture of kind of everything. Like, you've got dealerships, obviously, on the right here, and then you've got just a lot of industrial kind of warehouses. You've got some old and some new. If we were to go, so Burnside is on our right here. And if we were to go to the back of Burnside, eventually you get to good Dartmouth Crossing, which is like IKEA, Bass Pro Shops, Walmart's, Costco's, and all that. But in between here and there is just a big mix of different industries, storage, kind of everything. And at the back, you've got some newer kind of buildings, areas that you can lease and whatnot. Whereas this end of Burnside, kind of at the bottom of the hill, tends to be a little bit older. Now, on the left here, you'll see these condo buildings. And, you know, they are at a marina. There's not a lot around here in terms of residential. Like, basically what you see is what you get on the left there. I think there's 3 condo buildings. You know, it's an interesting, I guess, perspective in terms of living out there. The grocery stores are a little bit of a haul, to be honest. I think you'd have to go into Dartmouth to get to a grocery store. That may be a 5 or 10 minute drive. No, probably 5 to 7 minute drive. But, you know, there's other stuff out here. I mean, there's a couple restaurants out here to service the Burnside lunch crowd, and there is a nice marina right there that would be cool, I guess, if you were a boater you know, looking to have condo living on the Bedford Basin, that's definitely an option. But okay, pulling out of Burnside now, just get to the end bit. And up here on the left, you're going to see like a big kind of wooded area on this hill. This is actually home to the ammunition depot for the Navy. So you'll see the big chain link kind of barbed wire fence. But this in here is ammunition, basically depot. And is this going to come in? Okay. I've heard rumors, you know, this is hearsay stories, but basically some of these hills in here are from old World War II. I don't know if this is true, so, you know, take it for what you think it may be, but some of these old hills in here actually have old World War II ammunition, and maybe World War II or World War I ammunition, but basically, you know, all these ships, if you look up pictures of the Halifax Harbor in World War II, it was like a parking lot. I mean, there was just so many ships that would load up here from the rail, get their ammo, get their supplies, get their gear to ship over to Europe. They'd head over, and then once the war ended in Europe, they obviously needed a place to put all that gear. What is this bus doing? Okay, we're gonna have to move the lane. But you know, I don't know. Anyways, so we'll see if the government ever comes out and says that is the truth. But for now, we'll keep the rumor mill going and assume that is exactly what happened there. So we just kind of missed that little exit there. That would have been an option to go to Bedford. Now, I'm actually going to put another video on taking the Bedford Highway home from Bedford. So the nice thing about this drive is, you know, we're going out to Sackville here, which we're almost going to be at. Then on the way home, once I do my stuff out here, I'll do another one of these videos taking the Bedford Highway home from Bedford to downtown Halifax. So that'll be kind of, you'll be able to make that compare and contrast. But that, we just went past a little exit there that allows you to hop off there. You're in the backside of Bedford, come in at Sunnyside Mall, and yeah, so that would have been like, geez, 15 minutes, you know, getting into the back of Bedford. Yeah, we're just kind of towing along here on the highway. We're going to get to Sackville here shortly. Now, this is Lower Sackville. If I was going to go to Middle Sackville, it would probably be another 4 or 5 minute drive, maybe. Nothing too crazy, but you know, it would be a tiny little bit further. So for those looking at Indigo Shores, which we did a little video on in terms of the new build neighborhoods in Halifax, that would be one of them out in Middle Sackville. Or maybe there's a couple other options out there that you can look at. There's some nice lake living out in Middle Sackville. We're going to take this exit, and then I'm going to stop rolling here shortly. But yeah, this is basically Lower Sackville. So the camera time right now is 18 minutes, which is pretty darn good. You know, you're no traffic, obviously. We're not in rush hour or anything like that, but you're looking at about 15 to 18 minutes to get from downtown Halifax out to Lower Sackville. So, all right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, I'm Tom Moore with Remax, and yeah, subscribe to the channel. We got videos coming out on living in Halifax every week. We'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.